Okay. Uh, so I'll be doing the introduction to networking. So therefore, in this introduction, we'll start with the how to configure a switch. Yes. So after configuring a switch, we'll proceed to other things. So to configure a switch, it's simple. So what we need to configure in the switch, we'll need to configure VLANs. So VLANs stands for virtual local area network. So instead of creating a lot of physical networks, therefore we can create a simple virtual network in a switch for easy management of the network and for allowing more bandwidth in the network. So to prevent depreciation of bandwidth. All right. So we'll start with it. First of all, we'll start with first how to use the switches without configuring the VLANs. Then afterwards, we'll start configuring the VLANs. So I'll start with, we'll get this switch here, no VLANs. Another switch here, another switch here. So we just want to create a simple local area network. So I'll pick the PT router. Okay, so connect this switch to the router. Okay, so in case you don't know how to add a port to a switch, so therefore we first of all switch it off. Let me zoom it in for visibility sake. Okay, you switch it off. After switching it off, you remove the ports that you don't want. So we don't want this, don't want this, I don't want this. We want this fast Ethernet. So just need okay, I'll put an extra one just in case. So and switch it on. So that's how to add the ports to a router or in networking device. But in the real world scenario, it will require you to unscrew all such of things. But this is just an emulator, so therefore everything just made easy. So after connecting that, we'll connect also. Okay, so you have more ports now. We'll also connect this switch and also this switch here. So therefore, these switches, they are representing local area networks. Okay, so let's just put devices as well. So have this device and this device here. So connect this to this and this to this as well. That okay, then also add two switches here. Oh, two PCs here as well. Okay, then we get the copper straight through because these are not same devices. This and this and this. Okay, like that. Therefore, let's also just create this simple drawing here, just for formality of showing segmentation. Okay, so we'll name this LAN 1. This will be LAN 2. This will be LAN 3. So we have three local area networks here. Okay. Mm, okay, let's also assign IP addresses. So this one we use this IP address. This will be their default network address 8.0. This is their network address. This one 192.168.8.9.0 is their network address. 192.168.8.10.0. This is their network address. Okay, so the first IP address will give it to the router. So I'll get this, copy. Okay, check what port is this. Okay, F2s. Okay, so I'll open the command line. Say no. Okay, so here I'll say enable configure terminal. Okay, so I'm now in the global mode. So I'll say interface fa2 slash 0. Okay, and I'll say IP address. So IP address is a command used for assigning an IP address. So I'll paste that one, then put one, then the default mask. You don't want to do any subnetting here. Okay, dot 0, then say no shutdown. So this would switch on this red interface here to turn on green. Okay, as you can see, it's on now. Okay, then also we assign IP addresses. I don't know, this is really terrible in that thing mode. I think this application should be fixed. It's really terrible when it's in dark mode. Okay, so we assign IP addresses to this one. Okay, so desktop. Okay, this one we give it a 2. So .2. Okay, that's the mask. Then the IP address that we assigned to the router, that was .1, like that. Okay, so this one we give it 3. So desktop IP configuration. I'll paste that in the end. I just change and put 3. The mask is the same one. Then the IP address for the router, which was .1. That. Okay. Then we check. Let's confirm if we are able to communicate to the router. So open command prompt and type ping. Okay, the IP address for .1. Okay. As you can see, we're having this for the price, means you're able to communicate. So let's also do the same to this one. This is port. Okay, this is port 1. Okay, so .10. Let me copy this. Okay, so I'll say exit as the interface. So now I'll say interface is abbreviated as int. So int fa1/0, like that. Okay, no errors. So IP add, shortcut for IP address. I'll paste that. Then it was 10 there, 10.1, the IP address for the that will be assigned to the router. .0 is the network address, so you don't assign a network address to a device. Okay, .255.255.0. Okay, then you say no shortcut for no shutdown. Okay, as you can see, all is well. Then we assign IP addresses. This will be .2. So desktop IP configuration. Then this one, give it a 2, like that. Then the IP address for the router. Okay, desktop IP configuration. Okay, like that. This one dot three. The mask is the same. Okay, dot one for the router. Okay, let's confirm if we're able to communicate to the router. Okay, ping. Okay, all is well. So do the same to this one. Okay. Let me just start by assigning IP addresses to this. Okay, since I said I said dot one to be for the router, so to start on dot two. Okay, same mask, then dot one for the router. That will be the for the router. This one will be dot three. Okay, dot three. Subnet mask is the same. Dot one. Okay. Then we assign. Oh, I forgot to check the port. What port is this? 0. Okay. So we open the terminal again. Command right. So I'll say exit. So int fa 0/0. Okay. Then IP address. IP add. Okay, which is dot one 255.255.255.0. Okay, no shut down. Okay, let me fast forward the event. Okay, so now this since now all these devices, all these local area networks here, they are directly connected to this router, so there will be no need of us making any configuration to this router unless we are using one switch taking the traffic to the router. That's when you need to make adjustments to the router. And this is efficient, yes, it is still okay, still workable, but when it comes to in terms of cost, this will not be efficient because a switch, it's expensive, and apart from that, there is a lot of wastages of ports. This switch has how many? There's 24 ports, 24 Ethernet ports. So out of 24, we are only using 3 ports, which is not efficient. So instead of us doing that, we can use one switch and create virtual local area network inside it to cover up all these 3 physical networks. So therefore, this time around now, let's try to create VLANs so that everything will be scattered. Okay, I'll delete this. Okay. So we have local area network one. This was LAN one. This will be our LAN two, like this, and this will be our LAN three. And you only use one switch, like I said. So one switch to cover up all this traffic, and then we also need just a router. Okay, a router like this. A router like this. So even issue of usage of cables is now what minimized. Remember there we had the 3 cables that we are connecting to the router. Now we only have one cable connecting from the router going to the switch. Just this one cable here, like this. Then this cable is now. So this one will be connecting to this, like this. Then also this to this, just like this. Okay, let me do it quick. Okay. So after having done this now, so we have these three network. We now want to combine this local area network one. Okay, let me do this like the same way we did it. Okay, so this was our local area network one. This will be our local area network two. This was our local area network three, like this. So first of all, what do we need? We need to still assign the same IP addresses. So was give IP addresses to this one. Okay, so say 192.168.8.1 2 like this. Then 192.168.8.1 like this. The same way we did the configuration is still the same, but we just need to make changes to how the switch will handle the traffic from both or from all the networks or among the networks that we have. So this one was 9, so I have 9.1 no that's 2, sorry. Mask is the same. Then the gateway is still the same. Also do the same. Oh, which one was I assigning? Wait. Hope I didn't mess up things here. Oh, sorry. This one this one is to 8. This one is 3 and 8 here. 8 here like this, sorry. So this one's supposed to be 9. Okay, we have 9 here. 2. I know you might be wondering what will happen if you assign the same IP address that has already been assigned. Okay, let me create that one error for you so that you see. So let's say we have assigned this one. So let's try to assign the same IP address to this same one. So come to this one and give it the same IP address. Okay, you see, this address is already used in the network. So how is it able to know? Because all these devices, they are connected to this one central switch here. Okay, so let me just assign the correct one now. 3. Okay, 1 like that. When you come to this one will be 10. This one will be 10. The one like that. This one will be 3. Okay. Okay. So having done that now, since these are different local area networks, so what you need to know that this PC is only able to communicate to devices in the same network. But in the previous one, since all those local area networks were direct connected to this router here, they were able to communicate without any need of making any changes to the switch. Now, since you are having a central switch here, for this local area network to communicate to this one, to need the configuration in the switch and in the as well as in the router. But all devices in that same network, they are able to communicate. Let's say, for example, this one and this one here. You see, the message here is successful. But when we try this machine and this one here, this will be a failed message. No matter how many times you can try it, no matter how many times you can try to still be failed. But those devices in the same local area network, they'll be able to communicate. Okay, so now let's make all these three networks to communicate. So first of all, start by making configuration in the switch. Okay, so let's confirm which ones are active. So we have up. Okay. Okay, the first one is for the router, which is down. So we now introduce the concept of a trunk port. So a trunk port is just a port or configuration which allows multiple traffics to be transmitted from the switch to the router. So if you don't configure a trunk port in the port that is direct connected from the switch from the router to the switch, if it's not configured as a trunk port, there'll still be no communication even though you do the correct things. So that's also a must. So let's start by creating VLANs first of all. So we go in the command line here. Okay, let me increase the font so that maybe we can able to see the commands clearly. It's really important. Okay, font, command line. Okay, yeah, it's just a command line there. Let's put it 14. 14. Okay, 15. 14. Okay, 14. That's okay. Make it 14. Yeah. So we say enable. We start by saying enable. Okay. Configure terminal. So these commands will always be a must whenever you are configuring a networking device, either a router, or a switch, a firewall. You always start with these two commands. Okay, so after we have done this now, what do you want to configure here? We want to configure VLANs, right? So we say VLAN, then just put a question mark if you don't know what to do here to give us a hint. So we have VLANs that starts from what? They start from 1 up to 4094. But VLANs ID starting from 1 to, okay, this will be another concept that I will need to explain because there is also a certain range that you don't need to touch. Like, is it 1001 to 1005? Yes, they're not supposed to be touched. So VLAN 1, so you say VLAN, then you pick an ID. So there is the first one like this, the ID one is not used because it's one that is considered as the default VLAN. That's where all the ports in the switch, they are all assigned to. So you don't configure VLAN, don't use the VLAN ID one. So we start with the VLAN ID 2, okay? Or any other number except 1, and also from 1001 to 1005. Okay, so 1, okay, we pick VLAN 2, VLAN ID 2, like that. Then next you say we'll give it a name. We just say name. So what name is this? This is local area network 1. So give it 1, like the LAN 1, like that. So after that, again you say VLAN again, VLAN. What, we pick another ID, so say VLAN ID 3. Again you give it a name. This will be local area network 2. Again you say VLAN ID 4. Okay, then we name it as our local area network 3. So that's all, we are done creating VLANs. So after that you just say exit. After exiting, then we say now int, which is interface range. So range is used to control a certain range of ports at once rather than configuring them one by one. So we say int range. Since port 1 was left for the router, so say FA 0/2 to 3. So port 3 and 2 and 3, therefore these two machines which are in local area network 1. So like that, press enter. Then after that we say switch, okay, switch port mode access. So make these ports now, port 2 and 3 to be access ports. Okay, so modes of ports there are two. Either it's an access port or a trunk port. Okay, so say switch port mode access. Then after that, again we say switch port. Now switch port access. What are we accessing? We want to access our VLAN. What was our VLAN? For our local area network 1, it was VLAN 2. So say access VLAN 2 with the ID there. Oh, sorry, so there was a spelling issue here. Okay, like that. Okay, after that again we say int range. Int is shortcut for interface, so int range, we are picking now for int range fa 0/4 to 5. Okay, then switch port mode access. What is it again? Switch port mode access. Spelling issues. Okay, like that again. So next we say switch port. Okay, access VLAN 3. That will be the VLAN ID for our local area networking. This one. Okay. Oh my goodness, where's this guy? Babe? Oh my goodness. Okay, let me. Then I say again int range fa 0 slash. Oh, now we say 6. So 0/6 to 7, like that. The next we say switch port mode access. Okay, the next is a switch port access VLAN 4. That was their VLAN ID, this one here. Okay, so after having done that, now we now say int interface fa 0/1. We're now dealing with this port going to the router. Okay, so therefore say switch port. Now this one, since we remember what I said, we only have two modes. It's either it's access or trunk. So it's a switch port mode trunk, just like that. Then we are done with creating the trunk port. Then we go now and configure. Even though after we have done that, still they will not be able to communicate unless we also configure the router. Since the router is one which handles the packets where they are supposed to go, something like that. So in this one, I'll say enable configure terminal. Okay, then we say which port is this one that is connected from the router to this. Okay, fa 0/0. Okay, so now since we have local area network 1, local area network 2, local area network 3, so we want now this same cable to have also virtual sub cables within itself, so that it can transfer or transmit for data